Hi there. Welcome to Apple World. You bring a few Jewish individuals into a room, and you and they believe it's a shower, yet it's gas. Furthermore, they said, right. I said, right, that ain't nothing to joke about. So to me, it was actually a major buzzkill to put a rope around my neck, all things considered. So what an obligation all of you have. To come clean, to be first. However, to come clean. Individuals say, God, the trouble of making a film, and I'm like, send your child to Iraq. That is troublesome. Yet again, Denzel Washington's remarks about the bad faith in Hollywood have re-emerged, and fans via virtual entertainment are saying we want more celebs like Denzel to shout out about the startling things happening in the background in Tinseltown. Any reasonable person would agree that Hollywood has lost all the charm and persona it once had, and we're presently in a time where media outlets are viewed as something dim, perilous, and, surprisingly, wicked. Yet, few celebs have been sufficiently fearless to talk about this clouded side of Hollywood. Furthermore, one of them is Denzel Washington. Despite the fact that Denzel experienced segregation from the strong figures in Hollywood, he never blamed this. All things being equal, it is not entirely settled to uncover the inward operations of the business and shed light on Hollywood's upsetting plan. So what precisely did Denzel say regarding Hollywood, and how could he figure out how to stay consistent with his standards notwithstanding working in such a dull industry? Perhaps the main example in life that you ought to know is to make sure to have a disposition. Appreciation. If modesty prevails, comprehend where the gift comes from. Whenever asked to name the best 5 good individuals in Hollywood, a great many people would most likely include Denzel Washington. Not at all like most of his companions, Denzel stayed a respectable man in the genuine sense of the word, and his private and expert lives were something to respect.
While other celebs are attempting to push open relationships, and cheating is something ordinary, Denzel and his better half, Pauletta, have quite possibly one of the best marriages in Hollywood, having been together for a very long time with practically no outrages. Before he turned into an entertainer, Denzel thought about turning into an evangelist. In any case, he later made sense of the fact that he didn't feel prepared for that calling at that point, so he chose to let his acting work and the manner in which he carried on with his life speak for themselves. Notwithstanding, being a respectable man in Hollywood wasn't simple on the grounds that Denzel immediately found that media outlets have an exceptionally clouded side. In 2014, Denzel turned into a point of convergence in the Sony email hack debate when an unidentified programmer uncovered classified data from Sony Pictures' diversion. In one of the spilled email discussions between an anonymous maker and Sony administrator Michael Linton, which happened not long after Sony delivered Denzel's film The Adjuster, the maker suggested that Sony ought to abstain from projecting dark entertainers to all the more likely resound with a worldwide crowd. The maker recommended that profit abroad might have been considerably higher had a white entertainer taken on the lead job. I accept that the worldwide movie crowd is bigoted overall. Pictures with an African-American lead don't play well abroad, the maker wrote. However, that is not all. Rapidly, in the wake of moving to Hollywood, Denzel acknowledged there was a plan to profit from the dark injury and take advantage of it for diversion. In any case, Denzel wouldn't acknowledge these sorts of jobs, and he broadly let a maker know that in the event that the situation was reversed and his kin were the victims of the joke, nobody would think it was entertaining. And afterward, they attempted to hang him, and they attempted to do everything. Furthermore, I had a ton of preparing to do. Furthermore, there were a few Jewish individuals at the tryout. Also, I said, better believe it. They said no, it's interesting. It's like they hang him and afterward they can't. I said, better believe it, similar to when you bring a few Jewish individuals into a room and you and them believe it's a shower. But it's gas. Furthermore, they said, right. I said, right, that ain't nothing to joke about. So to me, it was actually a major buzzkill to put a rope around my neck. Denzel, likewise, would not defraud himself. Furthermore, however much the media attempted to push him toward this path, he generally kept up with the fact that the reality that the framework is slanted isn't a reason to surrender. In 2017, Denzel confronted a backfire when he guaranteed that the horror rates inside the African American population were not fundamentally brought about by the jail framework, rather underscoring the meaning of solid relational peculiarities. Gaining ground in our own house is more significant. When the framework becomes an integral factor, the harm is done. They're not securing long-term contracts. Denzel additionally recognized his parents' job in directing him in the correct direction. Furthermore, he referenced that despite the fact that his parents were isolated, his dad remained a presence in his life and filled in as a positive example. Despite the fact that my folks weren't together, I actually had a dad who was a delicate man and a genuine model. Despite the fact that Denzel perceives that the situation is manipulated, he keeps in mind that this ought to be an inspiration factor, not a reason. The situation is manipulated, yet there is even more motivation not to help it. Nonetheless, Denzel confronted a ton of analysis for saying this, with many individuals communicating disillusionment over his remarks in regards to the jail framework. Yet, in spite of the backfire, Denzel multiplied his cases, and he told the New York Everyday News, "It begins with how you bring up your kids. On the off chance that a young fellow doesn't have a mentor, he'll go get one. In this way, I can't fault the framework. It's appalling that we do such simple work for them." And afterward, while advancing his Oscar-winning film Walls, Denzel would indeed not be brought into a discussion by a correspondent with respect to racial separation. Furthermore, he said that the media is purposely depicting race as the sole issue to keep individuals separated. It's so natural to simply say, "Goodness, this is a direct result of this. This is a result of prejudice." Graciously, I didn't land the position thus. Perhaps you weren't sufficient. Wouldn't you say the issue is racial separation? The right word isn't was. Also, that is, by all accounts, not the only issue. That is one of the issues. Presently, you can make it the one to focus on, assuming you'd like, but it's not entirely alone. Yet, that's true. Denzel explained that even despite an uncalled-for framework, guiding one's energy toward outrage won't prompt arrangements. Also, he referenced that he disagrees with previous President Obama's utilization of the term outrage, and he leans towards the term amazing open door, all things being equal. Since, for example, when you read Obama's dauntlessness of trust, he featured this issue. He said, "I comprehend the dark American annoyance that he's not giving similar open doors since, in such a case that they were offering the chances, they would accomplish significantly more." Do you agree with them? I concur that he has the option to say that one could utilize the word outrage. Somebody could utilize the word open door. How are you going to manage this? We as a whole have reasons, or we could feel equitable motivations, to be furious. However, the point also, what exactly would you say you would do about it? And afterward, more as of late, Denzel again got down on Hollywood and apparently tossed conceal at favored big names who griped about their occupation during his appearance on the Hollywood journalist Oscar Chief's Roundtable. Denzel was joined by Mel Gibson and a few different chiefs. Also, when given some information about his worst work prior to turning into an entertainer, Denzel excused the idea that acting was intrinsically more testing or significant than other callings. Individuals say, "Goodness, the trouble of making a film," and I'm like, "We should send your child to Iraq." That is troublesome. It's simply a film. It's like, unwind. I don't play that valuable hogwash. Goodness, no. Goodness, leave. You realize your child had a chance in the face. That is troublesome. Making a film is an extravagance. It's a gift. It's an open door. What's more, in particular, it's a gift. Clearly, everyone here is sufficiently gifted. However, don't get it turned around. It's simply a film. It ain't that huge an arrangement. Throughout the long term, Denzel reliably reprimanded Hollywood for its twofold principles and lip service. Notwithstanding, he generally kept up with the fact that the main game plan is to continue on and remain consistent with your standards. Also, in spite of his ability and accomplishments, Denzel rejects the title of famous actor, and he once said in a meeting, "Titles don't have anything to do with me. That is not who I am." It resembles the term celebrity. What's the significance here? It's simply a name they give you until they supplant it with another. Another has been by the same token. I don't guarantee in the meantime. Reports as of late have created the impression that Denzel declined a job in a Wonder film under Disney's proprietorship, and as per one source, Denzel accepted the storyline was, quote, also woke. In any case, there's another fascinating discussion happening via virtual entertainment encompassing Denzel's position on Hollywood. At the point when Denzel told Will Smith that Satan snagged him when he slapped Chris Rock. Many fans at the time deciphered this as Denzel pardoning Will's way of behaving by putting it on Satan. Nonetheless, after reports as of late that the Oscar slap episode might have been coordinated by the business higher-ups to embarrass Will and push Chris back into the spotlight, fans are currently saying the Satan Denzel was discussing alludes to individuals who control the business. Denzel is a genuine person as well as an extraordinary entertainer, one fan said. I trust others to follow him. Uncovering Hollywood's genuine nature, Hollywood has turned into a junky place brimming with individuals without values and standards. Cash and distinction changed those purported entertainers. They are silly, brainless, and extremely needy individuals. Also, another fan said that Denzel has consistently spoken truth and stayed devoted to his convictions.